Okay. We are now live.
Hello, good morning, all our viewers. You're welcome to another episode of our monthly Women Building Communities show. My name is Sharifat Akibu Onatade. This morning, we will be discussing another topic that is very relevant to all of us in our current situation. As usual, we have the regular panelists. We have two of them. We have Rashidat Hassan and we have Mudira Oshundiya. And there are two guest panelists. We are still waiting for one of them. Yes. We are fortunate to have these important persons. I hope and I believe Dr. Fauzia will also join us soon.
I'm here already.
Oh, very good. Good morning, Sister Fauzia.
Good morning.
So these guests, they are very knowledgeable with their experience. They're both working in the NHS. They know what they're saying when it comes to predicting what the future holds based on data trends anyway. So we have Sister Siraja Habibu and we have Dr. Fauzia Aderolu. I am going to introduce them one by one. I'm going to start with Dr. Fauzia Taiwo Aderolu. So she is a medical doctor. She practices as a community medical doctor at the front line of NHS service and is currently a GP in Wickford in Essex. Dr. Aderolu graduated with a Bachelor in Medicine and Surgery from the College of Medicine, University of Ilorin. She further obtained a postgraduate medical qualification in the UK and thus became a member of the Royal College of General Practitioners, MRCGP. So Dr. Aderolu has an additional qualification in Diploma in Child Health, that's DCH, from the Royal College of Pediatrics and Child Health, that is RCPCH, as well as Diploma from the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, DRCOG. Can you all please welcome Sister Dr. Fauzia Taiwo Aderolu. And Doctor, can you kindly show your face and say hello to our viewers at home?
Okay, hello, assalamu alaikum everyone.
Yeah, then we have Sister Siraja Habibu. She's a clinical lead pharmacist. She's a well-respected member of Nigerian community. She's a pharmacist, she's a Muslim. She plays important roles within our community. Sister Siraja, can you please say hello to our viewers and introduce yourself as well?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm a clinical lead pharmacist in one of the hospitals in Essex. I graduated in Nigeria in the old University of Ife, and then later came here to do my overseas pharmacy exam and did had the pharmacy certificate for this country. And I have additional qualification, which is independent, non-medical independent prescribing for pharmacists, which means to certain group of patients, I'll be able to prescribe to help offload the work of the doctors. And as clinical lead as well, I am in charge of a site in my hospital who is responsible for providing services to the patients, to the ward, and the community at large.
Thank you, Sister Siraja. You're welcome to our program. We are still waiting for Sister Mudira to show up. And while we wait, we are going to continue with our program. And well, to those who have joined us, please remember to share our link to your friends and families so that they can all have a say. We can all have a say in this important discussion. Even if they can't join us live, they can always watch and leave a comment on our YouTube and our Facebook page. Also, remember to raise your hands if you have a contribution or any concern that you want to raise. I will let you know when we get to the segments of contributions or questions from our public viewers, okay? So, as I said, the topic is relevant. It is settling into the new normal because with the look of things, and of course, according to the scientists, things are going back to normal. And well, what I mean is the virus itself is going to be a lot less prevalent in the next coming months, hopefully by the grace of God. So because of the ways it's been contained and mainly due to the vaccines that majority are saying yes to. So I'm going to start with Dr. Aderolu. Now that the restrictions are going to end very soon, by the grace of God, in June, what will that mean? Will it mean there is no more COVID-19?
Right. Again, good morning to everyone. With regards to the question that you asked, it doesn't mean that COVID-19 is gone. In actual fact, COVID-19 is going to be with us for a very, very long time. And the new normal is how we can minimize the effect in terms of morbidity and mortality. And what I mean by that is in actual fact is in how severe it affects us, how many people get hospitalized or need support in able to survive having the COVID-19 infection, and how many people die from having the infection. Currently, the current lockdown guidance and restrictions have helped to curb the transmission of the virus. And alhamdulillah, the current COVID-19 vaccination program has also been successful in reducing the transmission as well as the severity of the infection when it comes to people who have contracted the virus. And this, and also we mustn't forget that there has been a lot of improvement in testing. And in actual fact, our schools now are offering lateral flow tests. Lots of workplaces are also offering lateral flow tests, and that is just to pick up on people who are asymptomatic and are likely to further transmit the virus. So basically what it means is that all of these measures have been put in place to help us to come back to our normal life, to be able to see our friends, to be able to see our families, to be able to run our businesses, to be able to walk into our GP surgeries, to be able to go to A&E without the fear of contracting the virus or dying from it, to be able to open up opportunities for people to have their elective procedures and get investigated at the right time and get the right treatment. So what I'm going to say is whatever the new normal is going to change at different stages, depending on data that is being gathered and depending on the vaccine successfulness. So yeah, I think in a nutshell, that is my understanding on what the new normal is.
Thank you very much, Dr. Aderolu. Thank you for that.
Before you go on, I'm sorry to cut in. Dr. Aderolu, if you could just try to adjust your sitting position so that there is some light falling on you. And also, Sister Sharifa, it's a bit dark and your pictures are not very clear. So if you can just adjust that. Yeah, that's good, Dr. Aderolu. If the light can be switched on or something. Go on, please.
Yes, I think I've answered my question. Am I correct?
Sister Sharifa, your mic is muted.
I was asking for someone to adjust the light for me. Anyway, we're going to continue now. Thank you very much, Dr. Aderolu. I go to Sister Siraja now. Was there a time in the history of Islam, or when that looks like these are our present situation in terms of the pandemic and the lockdown? Sister Siraja.
Yeah, I'm trying to unmute myself. Sorry about that.
That's fine.
There has been the pandemic can be, okay, assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, in case there are people who were not here at the beginning. So there have been many situations that could be looked or make look like the pandemic. A pandemic is one of the crises that happen to a large group of people. And within the Islamic world, there has been lots and lots of crises. So I will be able to talk about some crises, but not pandemic. In terms of pandemic, we look at diseases. But since this disease affected many people's lives, especially coronavirus, so I'll be able to talk about probably a crisis that also affected many people's lives. During the time at the beginning of the spread of Islam in Makkah, many Muslims faced persecution. So with time, they had to migrate to Medina. But before they migrated to Medina, they were boycotted for years, for about 2 to 3 years. Many people were poor. Many people had lost their family because they've been persecuted. And to the extent that there were times that some of the Bedouins went to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and opened up their top to show that they've got 2 stones in their stomach. And he opened up his, also said, I've got 3, just to show that as a leader, he's aware of what is going on, he's part of it. So after that, it was revealed to him that they can migrate away from Makkah. So when they got to Medina, Medina being a new place, a new environment for them, is almost like reminding them of the crisis which they had while they were in Makkah. They had left their wives, they had left their wealth, they have left their properties, they were used to trading, but when they came to Medina, there was nothing for them. But thankfully, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, at the time he was preaching, he did send some people to Medina to go and preach Islam as well. So by the time they got there, they were already the Ansaris, who were, Ansari means helper. So the Ansaris, okay, the Ansari took over the Muhajirins. The Muhajirins are those who migrated from Makkah to Medina. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to them, they should treat them like their brother, they should act in brotherhood. So the Ansaris were ready to take 1 person each into the family. Some of them were even ready to share their wives, those that had more than 1 wife, so that the Makkans who were coming will not feel that much of homesick. And then they were told, the Ansaris were told not to give everything to the Makkans. They should allow them to settle, then give them job so that they will settle that. But in that interim, it was a sort of crisis for them because the food they were eating in Medina were new for them. They were not used to that kind of food. Some people had so much upset, some people were vomiting, and the environment was new. So that was a kind of crisis, a new crisis for them, other than the crisis they were facing in Makkah. And slowly they settled in Medina. So this also is an example for us to show that with the pandemic we are facing, we will slowly settle in, as the doctor has said. When the vaccines go around and the number of infection goes down, people will settle in and they'll be able to live in the new normal.
Thank you very much, Sister Siraja. It's interesting to learn that there was a crisis similar to what we're experiencing now at the early stage of Islam. Now, Sister Mudiro, I can see that you are in now. You're welcome. My question goes to you now. There have been pandemics, over the centuries. Now I'm talking generally, not only about Islam now, but the term unprecedented is more used when explaining our current situation. For like 1 year now, we've been in lockdown almost everywhere in the world, not 1, not 2 countries. Now, is there anything in human history, okay, generally, that is similar to what we're experiencing now? Sister Mudiro, oh, she's not there. She's not there. I think we lost her. Okay, let me see if we can hear from Sister Rashida now. She's going to be talking from the perspective of the economic situation and the implication of the pandemic. Sister Rashida, now looking at the economic situation and the implication of this COVID-19 pandemic, it has caused a lot of people to go below the poverty line due to loss of jobs and the deaths of breadwinners of families. What can people, individuals like us, what can we do to at least have the same quality of life that we used to, or even a better quality of life? Sister Rashida.
Hello, everyone. I think, like everyone have said, the doctor have said it, and also Sister Siraja talking about when things happen to cause upset within the society and people need to cope, and then we have new normal. Now we are in a situation where a lot of people have lost their job. Many families are very low income because of reduction in hours of work. Many places of work have had to close down. But the thing is that it is also an opportunity for a lot of people to press reset in terms of their financial and economic status. So it is a time that, yes, it's a difficult time, but it's also in difficult times that new and innovative ideas have, come up. So this time with the pandemic, as it is settling down, as we're overcoming the situation, there will be new opportunities for people to start new businesses. The pandemic has created, for instance, we are here now on this platform, we're discussing this show, we're discussing issues on this show. This is something we've had an idea to do for a long time, but the pandemic gave us an opportunity to actually go ahead and implement that. The same thing with a lot of areas of life that opportunities will be in. So it's very important for us as women to start thinking about where we are, to start looking at opportunities and trying to take those opportunities to improve our financial situation as well as our social and economic life. And another important thing is that, like everybody said, COVID is not going away tomorrow. It's not going away very soon. So definitely there are a lot of things that we used to do before in a particular way that we cannot do it again. Now a lot of things are going online. Things are becoming digitalized. So it's a new system, and we all have to adjust. And to adjust, one of the first things every one of us have to do is actually to try to upskill ourselves. So as women, this is a time you can stay at home. There is many online trainings, many online opportunities that we can actually go into. And we need to start thinking, what are those areas that we can venture into in this new normal, and that we will be able to take care of our own economic situation, as well as help the society to recover. Because it's not just us as individuals that are having economic, the situation is affecting or has impacted our economic situation. It has affected the whole world, the whole country. So, and we all would have to do something to get to, to change that situation.
Okay, thank you, Sister Rashida. I understand that we are moving into the digital world now, and as you said, the advice to all of us is to move whatever we do gradually into to adapt to the digital world. If it is if retraining is necessary, if, for instance, if the kind of profession we are into is not something we can establish online, then we can retrain. If we can find another area, another specialization to gradually move in.
Exactly. So it's just about, being creative and innovative and looking at all those opportunities. A lot of people have gone into mask production, for instance, now. Mask, because everybody would have to use mask, or most people, except people who for medical reasons don't have to use it. So for a long time, we're going to be having people using masks. I know of a friend, of an auntie who started producing masks, using different kind of materials that are suitable to put over the nose. And you have people, so there are quite a number of things opening up. It has taken a lot from us, but also it is giving us, you know, a lot, and it is just for us to sit back and be able to, and that's one of the reasons we have the WBC initiative, as and I think I just want to plug that in. One of our main focus or area of interest is actually to work with women to identify things they can do within their community to better their lot, either economically, socially, or to even influence the recovery. The recovery process, you know, with what the impact of the COVID-19. And of course, we'll be coming up with all those information, how you can be part of it, and how we can work together to actually do this. It has to be a collective effort, but also it has to be an individual decision to be able to get out of it. Most of our mental health, there is a lot, because if you're not doing anything, a lot of us have stayed at home for so long that, you know, it has become, if we're not careful, we stop thinking and we stop being active. And that affects not only our economic situation, it also affects our mental health.
Thank you, Sister Rashida. I can see someone raising a hand. I want to assure you that we will get to the segment where you will be allowed to raise your concerns or your comments. I saw Sister Mudira, but I think, yeah, Sister Mudira, if you are there, I think you are part of us now. Now, we are looking at the situation all over the world, not just one Arab country, you know, everywhere around the world now. The term unprecedented is, you know, that's the term we hear here and there now to explain our current situation. I want to know whether there has been a situation like this, whether we have the pandemics over the past decades and centuries, whether it has put the whole world, the entire world, into lockdown like this. Sister Mudira.
I think she might be having a problem with her connection because she's not coming up. She's there, but I don't know what's happening with her.
Okay. Sister Mudira, if you can hear us. Okay. Okay, now let's carry on. Now, I want to put a question to Dr. Fauzia now. I want to know how often we should be prepared to renew the COVID-19 vaccine, and what are the long-term, the negative implications on our health?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Like we all know, COVID-19 is very new. So it's something that data is being gathered alongside. There hasn't been any guidelines or laws or regulations to say that we're going to have it every so often, but there is a chance that that's going to happen. And the main reason is because in the last few months, we all have been hearing from the news that there has been variants. For example, in the UK, we've had the Kent variant, we've had the Liverpool variant, we had the Bristol variant. Recently, some few months ago, the Nigerian variant came in. And so, and this is not unusual for viruses. Viruses, they mutate, they change. And as a result, the effectiveness of the current existing vaccines may not be as adequate as they were. By the time, you know, we take all of these mutations into consideration. So there is a chance that, like the annual flu vaccine, this might become an annual thing until it becomes, you know, less of a threat to existence of human beings. So there is that possibility of us having to have the vaccine as an annual thing or on a regular interval. Coming to your second question about the long-term side effects, as far as I'm aware, there hasn't been any documentations of long-term side effects. What we have is immediate side effects, which normally happen within the first few hours to the first few days of having the vaccine. And these are the usual pain where you have the vaccine, headache, fever, having chills on rigor, feeling tired. And a lot of these side effects, they go away with time. So simple things like making sure you're hydrated, take some paracetamol for headaches, pace yourself and don't rush around. These are all simple things, but most of these things, they improve with time. Even with the normal flu vaccine, people have these side effects and they just, wait for the side effects to wear off. But there hasn't been any documentation for any or theoretical expectation for any long-term side effects.
Thank you very much, Sister Fauzia Aderolu. Sister Mudira, let me know if you are there, if you can hear us, and if you think your internet connection is stable enough for you to have a say in this discussion. Sister Siraja, we are hopefully coming out of the pandemic, and I understand that some countries they are in their third wave at the moment, but generally, the more we understand the virus, the better we can handle it. And, that's what we are getting. So how best can we adjust to the new life the pandemic is leaving behind? And, what are the advice we can get from the government, from the people of authority, and also from the Islamic point of view, if there is any?
Yes, thank you very much for that question. Now, on Islamic point of view, I stand, we are already very hygienic. We do our ablution 5 times a day. That is minimum. Sometimes some people do sooner, some people do nawafil. So in relating that to the advice for prevention of the further pandemic, we've been told to be washing our hands. We'll be asked not to shake. Already in Islam, for Muslims, the women cannot shake the men. So that's part of it. Now they've said we should all not shake. And if you do not shake, there is a less chance for us to transmit the infection. And if you wash your hands all the time, just like we do, there's less chance for you to get infection from your hand and put it on top of other items where people will touch and it will be transferred. Again, we've also been asked not to travel out by the government except it is very essential. In Islamic world, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did advise that where there is a plague, if you are there, you remain there. Sorry, I'll just switch over. Where there is plague, you remain there, do not go out. The reason for this, if you think about it, is that if they go out, just like they brought the virus from Wuhan worldwide, they will bring any plague to other parts of the world. So, and if you are in an area where there is no plague, do not travel from there into the world where there is plague. Because if you are not someone who resides there, on getting there, you are likely to be infected by the plague and you will take it back out and it could spread to the travelers you meet on the road, to your families. And if you are someone who work in a place with large members of the organization, it is easily spread, you become a super spreader. So on that part, we can see that Islam, even though it has already known that there are a lot of things that we can prevent from doing wudu. And generally in Islam, we like to hug. And even the Western world, people like to hug, they like to kiss. We've also been informed not to do that. So this has a little impact on Islam. That's okay, but we can readily adjust in Islam as long as everyone adjusts. Then secondly, with this infection, if we avoid having large people in an enclosed area, just like in the religious places like the masjid, the churches, and the other areas where the Jews and Sikhs pray, then we'll be able to prevent such things. Right now, when the pandemic came and we were told to have social distancing, in the masjid, people were told to bring their own mat. And not many people were allowed in a masjid. They were adjusting to the rule, even though as per Islam, we're meant to pray shoulder to shoulder, but also Allah did say that we should preserve our soul, we should preserve our life. So if it means preserving your life by having social distancing 2 meters apart to say your prayers, I think Allah will not be upset with that, because it still tallies with preventing your life or preventing yourself from committing suicide. If you intentionally pray side to side and you have COVID, or the other person has COVID and dies, that means that sounds like an intentional suicide, because praying aside does not mean your prayers are not going to be accepted. So we need to see the different ways of life. This actually makes one sit down, reflect. I'm sorry, I'm getting too much cough. I'll just stop it again. Okay. So it makes one ponder as a Muslim and reflect on the rules and regulation, on the Sharia, to see how it actually relates to the rules of the government and World Health Organization in preventing the pandemic from the infection from spreading. And again, if people gather together to do like weddings, and maybe during each time we gather together, we are likely to spread the infection. So trying to obey the government is part of Islam. If you are in a country where it's not purely Islamic practice and they are making rules, it is advised that you should obey the rule of the law of the country. If you cannot, if you know that it does not tally with your way of Islamic life, then it's better to actually live rather than disobeying, because disobeying the law, again, is also against Islam. Allah says we should obey our seniors, we should obey our government, we should obey the law, and we should obey the authority. So in Islam, as we need to accept and respect what the government is saying in order to preserve life against coronavirus.
Okay, thank you very much. Now let's allow our viewers, the attendees, to put their contributions forward. You can unmute yourself if you have a contribution as an attendee.
There is a comment here. It says it's also a time to pause, reflect on how things are generally, what next to try in terms of way forward in life, and also a time to put things into perspective, cherishing everyone and everything we have and that surrounds us. It's also a time to remind us that life is too short and that we should live and enjoy life without any regrets. So that's somebody's comments on the new normal. Yeah. So you need to unmute whoever has raised their hands. I think there is somebody with February 16. I'm not sure, there's no name. It's just showing the email address. So if you can unmute yourself now, you've been allowed. Yeah, maybe we should go on because they're not talking.
Okay, maybe they're not ready. Now, Sister Rashida, we have not talked about businesses, because most of them, even big businesses, they are collapsing now. Not to talk of small petty businesses that most of us are into. And also there are people who would like to, start new businesses, when the restrictions are finally eased. What advice can you give us?
Yeah, I like I said earlier, the first thing is for us to be able to identify where the opportunities are. So it's a difficult time truly, but also the government, non-governmental organizations, agencies, there are a lot of things that people are doing out there to actually help the economy to recover. So we as women that find ourselves, in situations where we've lost our jobs or our earnings are reduced at home because the husband is not, or the any earning member of the family has had a reduced income, we need to look at those opportunities, check online, discuss with people, and it is now important for every one of us, to actually learn to use the digital system. You even to keep abreast of what is happening. So the first thing I would say to people is we need to be updated with information of opportunities that are out there. That is one. Secondly, we need to start thinking creatively. So what can I do? How can I help? This is a situation that has happened around the world. When Sister Suraja was talking earlier, she was saying something about the fact about following the rules and regulations in the country you are, and where you are there, you stay there. In this particular situation, it's very peculiar because this is happening around the world. So it's not limited to any particular part of the world. So everywhere around us, the pandemic has affected, maybe at different levels, but it has affected everyone. So at this moment, it's very important that we all keep abreast of it and we all start to be creative. So what can I do? What are the skills that I have? What are the talents? A lot of us, we've allowed whatever skills or talent that Allah has bestowed on us, that God has given us, we've allowed it to wither away maybe because we are not well motivated, maybe because we don't believe in ourselves, or all those kind of things. But at this particular time, at this time of the pandemic, with all the impact it has had in all our various life, it is important for us to start thinking creatively. Even the businesses you are doing before, you need to start thinking, how can I do it differently? What can I do to improve it? Okay, how has the COVID or the pandemic situation, the lockdown, the restrictions, how has it affected my business? So how can I take this business and still be able to render my service in a different way? And I can say to you that there is right now, especially in the UK, a lot of government initiative around supporting people to take up digitalization process in the things they do. And there is a lot of funding out there to actually support such things. So we need to look at those things, have information about them. We need to start forming support network for ourselves so that we come together, we look at, how we can support ourselves to achieve our social and economic, requirements and needs. So we need to start forming supporting network within the community. And we need a lot of people who know how. We have within the community, we have accountants, we have lawyers, we have medical practitioners, we have all these people. This is a time for all of them to bring in their skills and actually see how we can support others to also come out of the pandemic, so that together we can all help the economy to recover, and we can all make a difference in our lives, and we can, achieve something for ourselves despite the pandemic. It's as a Muslim, we know that when we have trials and tribulations is so that we can become stronger and better. And the only way we would have that is first to have faith in Allah. So underlining all these things I have said is our faith in Allah, knowing that whatever we do, Allah would bless it.
That's a very good advice. But at the same time, it's not every business that can be moved online, that can be moved to,
Definitely.
virtual, system. So what about production, people producing food,
Yeah, that, that's what I said about knowing exactly what is out there. The thing is, we are going to be in a new normal. The doctor have said it about the fact that there is still going to be, all the guidelines that government has put in place. You need to understand how you can adopt those guidelines to your business. That's what I was saying when I say you need to look at your business or your source of earning and see how you can adjust to suit the new situation. And there are a lot of ways that we can do that. So for instance, for those who are into productions, you need to find out, how can I make my production process more safe? How can I follow government guideline of social distancing and at the same time be able to carry out my business? What are the ways? What are the things? What are the new resources that I will need to get? And because it's very difficult to get some of these resources, you need to also know what support are there for me, what are the help that I can get to actually help my business to adjust to this new normal. So that is why information is very important. Creativity is very important. Look at your business, look at whatever it is that you're earning from. Even big organizations are having to have a look at their existing system and revamp those systems so that they can suit the new COVID normal, the new COVID situation, the new life that we're now living in. That's why you go to offices now, you have the guards, you know, you go into offices, tables and chairs are poles apart. You have guards that are used, people are using the transparent face, plastic face masks and all those kind of things. So everybody, even the smallest of the smallest business would need to be creative and know how they can adjust their business to the new normal.
That's a very good one. Thank you very much. Sister Railu Tiamiyu has been raising her hand, and I would like us to listen to her now. Sister Railu, you can unmute yourself and please join in the discussion.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum. I just wanted to add to what Rashida was saying, which is being creative. I'm an entrepreneur, and when you look at the COVID, the season that we are, all the time, during the past year, you find out that businesses, even before then, some businesses have already been collapsing and things have been going wrong. But during the COVID time, you find out that a lot of businesses went down. And for me, I needed to see what else can I do? How else can I do this so that you don't crumble out completely? So one.
Sorry.
What happened? You are muted, Sister Railu. I think you, yeah.
Okay, sorry. So I work with small businesses too. And one of the things that have helped me and that have helped the people that I work with is when I tell them, try to look inward and see how you can transfer your skills. Because for a lot of people, relearning new skills might be difficult. And people tend to overlook the fact that I am this does not mean that is all I can do with my skills. So try to look into what you currently have and see how else can I use the skills to produce. For me, one of the things that I was able to do, alhamdulillah, I do a lot of graphic designing, and even my graphic designing didn't come from learning graphic designing. It came from the fact that I used to learn tie and dye. I used to do a lot of tie and dye. So it was the skills that I knew from tie and dye that I transferred to graphic designing. And that skills, again, I now transferred into publishing people's books, designing and publishing books. So you find out that there's no limit, and Allah is so, when we look at it, you reflect and you see how great Allah is. There's so much that we know, but we don't know because we have limited our way of thinking, saying I am a teacher and that is all I can do. I'm a classroom teacher, that is all I can do. No, you're a classroom teacher. In this era, classrooms are closed. Why don't you look into producing courses online, doing some, whatever it is you are, if you're able to sit down and reflect, you find out that your skills, you can do a lot more. And inshallah, you ask Allah for barakah, and that is what is most important. So that was what I wanted to share. Jazakumullah khair.
Thank you very much, Sister Railu, for that contribution. I hope it helps all of us, and
there's a comment here. It says we need to accept the challenges that came with pandemic to settle into the new norm. Change is difficult, but we need to be open to change. There has been delays, anger, sickness, deaths, and various forms of losses. This is the time to acknowledge we need each other and love more. That's what I was saying about, support network and us creating, that avenue to help one another to come out of this.
Oh, thank you, Sister Rashida. Now let's allow AMDAF to put our contributions forward, because she has been raising her hand, AMDAF, can you please unmute yourself and please have a say in this?
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, sisters.
Alaikum salam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
My name is Islamia Sadiq Kadejo. I'm joining from Ireland. Thank you so much for this amazing session this morning. I just want to call our attention to this networks Sister Rashida is coming up with is very important. But what I want to draw our attention to is our cultural mindset, especially Nigerians, or do I say Africa as a whole. I'm not sure about other people, but I'm very sure about Nigerians. We come from a culture of, I don't want her to know what I'm going through. Because in actual fact, if like 5 people knows what she's going through, 4 of them are in reality are going to betray her, if not all the 5. So people are going through a lot. Some of us have solutions, we have ideas, but they cannot even approach us like, okay, this is my confusion, this has been my loss as a result of the pandemic. How can you be of help to me? So apart from, okay, doing this kind of session, I don't know what we, especially you strong women are missing this morning. I think we need to do more to kind of reach out. Because what I realize is until it is late, you don't know your sister is going through difficulties because she's not sure who to turn to. So our culture doesn't reach out, but we need help. They say, well, if she doesn't tell me, what do? I don't know, but we just have to, maybe we need to reach out on our own, sort of, but our sisters are not really reaching out. I don't have a solution about that. It's just in my head. I know it's happening, but if you can just look into that, if they don't come out to say, I need help, is there a way to reach out to them that, okay, I want to be of help to you? Thank you, sis. Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam. Thank you, Sister Islamia. Did I get the name correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Well, it's a problem within our community, to be honest, and we don't trust each other. So sharing our personal problems with others, even people we love, people that are very close to us, is a very big problem. Very few people there are that we actually trust, that we can, talk to and be free with. But we can only advise ourselves that find someone to trust, find someone to discuss your problem with. It's lessen the stress. We can together find a solution to the problem. And if we think, oh, if I tell Mr. A or Mrs. B, then they're going to tell the whole world. Leave them to Allah, leave them to our Creator. They will deal with them in a way that, in a just way. So it's not our problem that they broadcast our problem. What we are after is to find a solution, and I pray God help all of us in that. Thank you.
I think Sister Fauzia wanted to say something. Dr. Fauzia, she has a hand up.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to contribute to what Sister Sharifa said in response to what Sister Islamia said. I think we all have to look out for each other. That sister, it comes to your mind. You haven't seen her, post anything or respond on WhatsApp. Just pick up your phone and just ask after her. How are you doing, sister? You haven't been on social media. Is everything okay? You're not actually prying into her life, but you're actually just asking and just, holding out a hand to say, actually, if you need me, I'm here. Sometimes that's all people want to. Sometimes you just call people, oh, I just remembered you, and I just thought, I should just give you a call. It goes a very, very long way. And sometimes if people cannot disclose what is going on, you pray for them. Just make dua. Oh, Allah is this person's, affairs. Make our affairs easy for us. And pray for the person and just let them know you're there if they really do need to reach out to you.
Yeah. Can I come in here, Sister Sharifa? Is it okay?
Yes. It's
fine.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that I quite agree with Sister Islamia and what both of you, both Dr. Fauzia and Sharifa, have said. And I think in my own mind, what I'm thinking, we as the WBC team, a lot of time we discuss about how we can support our community, and that's why we called it Women Building Communities. And I think with the pandemic, what I can perceive from what Sister Islamiyah is saying is that there are some of us who actually have some kind of skill and ability that we can actually use to support people. But the problem is, because we all keep to ourselves, everybody's doing their thing, nobody's ready to actually reach out to the other. We are not able to bring together our strengths to support the community. So I would say, in response to what you said, as part of the solution, because yes, we can talk from today till tomorrow and we can keep giving all this advice, but if people can't take real action, then it will all remain exactly that, just talk. That is what it will be. So I think it is now time that some of us actually try to reach out. We've been dealing with a lot of this. This is a pandemic situation. What can we do to actually support ourselves? Not necessarily, you might be doing your different things, but on this particular situation, with this particular impact of the COVID, I know about a group of what's it called? A group of sisters who came together during this with the impact of this pandemic, and they have what they call an healing session, where women will go to and they are able to talk about, their feelings and all that, and they have it in a private way. It's not like we are broadcasting this because we are discussing issues generally, but that, because it is specific to address the problem people are having, so they create a safe space where people are able to express themselves, and there's a kind of reassurance that is given that is just an example of something that some people have done. So we can all actually come together and think of what we can do and allow make it easy. I think Dr. Suraja has a hand, so. But that's Sister Suraja, sorry. I'm sorry.
You can unmute, Sister Suraja.
Yeah, thank you. I was trying to get the raised hand. I couldn't see it on my laptop. I was just trying to contribute to what Dr. Fawzia said. If you look at the last verse on chapter Surah Al-Imran, it does say that as believers, we should endure whatever we are going through with patience, perseverance, and we should all unite together to solve our issues out. So looking at that aspect, if we have to follow what the Quran says, we should actually try to work together and reach out for those in need and help them.
Thank you very much, Sister Suraja. We have learned a lot from today's discussion, and I hope it's going to make impact in the way we see things and the way we, in the steps, in the actions we take from now on. I think we've covered most of what we intended to cover today. Let me look at the time. Okay. Can we bring? Okay, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I have a quick question for Dr. Fawzia, please.
Okay.
Yeah, salam alaikum, doctor. I'm aware that there are some, like my nephew, when in school, they were asked to use Max Ultra. They asked to use Max Ultra. And he came back home to say one of their students actually passed out. So we know that there are some people who find it very difficult. They can't use Max, and I think they are exempted. So if you find yourself in that category, how do you get an exemption, or what do you do?
Okay, so for the exemption, you have to go online. It's a government website. If you just go exemptiongovernment.uk or something like that, it should take you to the actual page where you can download the exemption certificate, and it's as simple as that, really. So, but don't forget that some people would definitely abuse this. So I think most of us, if it's practical for us, we stick to it. Obviously, there are always exceptions, but if you do fall into that category, it's something you can sort out yourself.
Sorry, Dr. Fawzia, when you go to fill the form, are there certain questions you'll be asked that would, let them know that you are actually entitled, or you do have a problem that will require you not to wear the mask, or you just go there and ask anybody and you can just say, I want to be exempted, and that's it.
Right. Unfortunately, I haven't gone through the form myself, but I know that that's the procedure.
All right. Okay, that's fine. I think
Sister Aisha Shomoye is raising her hand. Can you please unmute yourself and have a say in this contribution, in this discussion? Sister Aisha Shomoye.
Hello, everybody. Just talking about the form filling. There's no questions to ask. All you have to just do download the exemption thing, and then you print it and have it with you. But for the benefit of other people, I would like to ask a question regarding the mask. You know that some the reasons stated there. What if it doesn't apply to you? Like something like you have a severe, eczema, like it covers your face when you use it. And also like what somebody just mentioned earlier, that the person fainted. Some people, when they use mask, like myself, I can't use it. I feel the heat is just too much and it makes me feel dizzy. So I don't use it at all. I have the exemption, just for the benefit of people that do not know, because that is not stated there. But I knew that is a problem for me, and I did download it. But just for others to know, is it okay for people that have things that are not mentioned in the reasons for the exemption? Thank you.
Yes, so yes, I think it's a personalized decision, which is probably why you don't really need to fill any form. We all know that if the more people that use the face mask, the more the level of protection. The less people that use the face mask, the less the level of protection. And for someone who chooses not to use the face mask, for obvious reasons like yourself, then they do know that they are taking a personal responsibility, that they are exposing themselves compared to other people, as well as exposing other people. But there's also the option of face shield for those who can, take that, or who can get on with the face shield. It doesn't give you the same level of protection, but it does give you some degree of protection. So I think at the end of the day, everyone has to take a personal decision. And if you choose not to, for obvious reasons to yourself, then it is a good thing to have your exemption certificate so that you can always show it if you get challenged. So I hope that answers the question.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fauzia Aderolu, Sister Siraja Habibu, Sister Rashida Hassan, and all our sisters that contributed. We have now come to the end of the show. We thank all of you who have participated and those watching us. Remember to share our links and post comments to continue the discussion, because it shouldn't end here, to be honest. We hope to meet you again next month, the last Saturday of the month. Again, I'm Sherifat Akibu-Onatade, and it's up to women, and we are up to it. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa
Wa
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Rashida, you can end it.
Yeah.